Today I'm going to be making a very simple dish. Actually, I'm making two dishes. I'm going to make chicken quesadillas, and this is really a simple recipe. Even your children can help with this and do this as they are probably home now from school and all of the things that are going on with COVID. So great lunch recipe as well as a dinner recipe if you serve it with a nice salad. And I'm also going to be showing you how to do a very quick pesto that we're going to marinate the shrimp in and do some grilled shrimps today as well. So they're two easy, very simple recipes. They don't take much time. And even for a novice cook, this is actually, it's almost like foolproof, okay? So what we're gonna start out with is the chicken. So what I do is, I'm not a big chicken eater. I call myself a 90-10 vegetarian, meaning 90% of the time I'm vegetarian, and the 10% I am not vegetarian. However, I still don't like chicken. So I'm going to do two versions of this. One will be with chicken, and the other, the last quesadilla that I make is going to be just vegetarian, so I can have that for lunch. So what you want to do is, I have one chicken breast here, and this has already been washed. What I want you to just remember is you're going to thin it out because it's quite thick. And as you thin this, you can see that it becomes like a fan. What you guys just to know is when you're slicing it, just try and do it in the center so it becomes even. And then I want you to slice it right down the center. So that's two pieces, just like that. Okay? And then I want to show you what you're going to marinate it with, or not marinate it, it's just a coating. So I have 1 teaspoon of red paprika. Now you can use red chili powder for this, depending on if you want it very spicy. So for today, I'm going to use paprika. I have 1 teaspoon of coriander that's been blended. I blended that at home. A half a teaspoon of black pepper. You can alter that if you don't want it, again, too spicy. You have half a teaspoon of garlic powder. And then I have about 3/4 teaspoon of salt. Now you can alter this depending on your own taste. You can put more or less, and you can even add it at the end in the vegetables that we're going to add. But right now, that's the mixture. And what I want you to be able to do here is basically combine all of these ingredients in a small bowl. And we're going to add, okay, so what we're going to add is some garlic and ginger. I have about 1/4 teaspoon each, just because this is just a very small piece of breast. So if you're making it for more than, I would say, 4 people, then add a second breast. So I have here 1/4 teaspoon garlic and ginger that I've already measured out. And then what I want you to do is just mix this into a paste. And then we're going to coat the chicken. And I'm just turning on the skillet here for on medium heat, because I want to cook this chicken 5 minutes on each side. So this is mixed here, and my hands are washed. So what you want to do is you want to really coat the chicken generously with this paste, okay? Okay, then you're going to do it on both sides, okay? So just coat it nicely. What I'll do is the stuff that's on the cutting board here, I'm just going to put it in the pan as well, so the chicken will cook with it. Okay, so what's going to happen is, after I'm done this part, I'm actually going to put this chicken to the side on a plate. It's going to cool off, and then I'll show you the mixture for the vegetables, and then in the meantime the chicken will cool, and then we will slice it up. Okay. So what you want to do is, I've got about, I would say, 2 tablespoons of oil. Just put that on your pan. And I have a really powerful, it seems like, stove. So I tell people, like, watch your stove. You want to make sure you cook this evenly. So you're going to put that in. And then, as I said, we're just going to take this marinade and just put it on the top. And I've got it on low, but you can just sort of adjust your temperature accordingly, because you want it to cook nicely. You don't want it to burn. Okay. So we're going to cook this 5 minutes on each side. So in the meantime, as it's cooking, I will just tell you sort of what the ingredients are that we want for the vegetables. We have black beans here. So this is from a can that I have, and I'm sure in the UK you get them as well. So these are black beans. We have a can of corn, and then red kidney beans here. Again, it's just one can each. I have half a green pepper chopped up, a quarter of a red onion, and I have red pepper as well, half of that chopped up. And then I also have shredded the cheese, which is the marble block. I've cut up some coriander, and we're going to mix all of this once we just cook our chicken. Now, you know, chicken doesn't take a long time to cook. You want to make sure that it's cooked all the way, because it's not going to get a lot of time in the vegetable. Once we mix everything, it's not going to get time to cook in there. So you definitely want to make sure it's completely cooked in this process. So you can also, once I show you the whole process, I'm going to be doing it in a frying pan. Once I make the tortillas into the actual quesadilla, you can also do this in the oven. So depending on, you know, how you want to do the end product, you can do it in the oven. I prefer it this way, but I know my sister actually does it, and they do it in the oven as well. We're going to use the same pan for the vegetables. So now that the marinade is in here, it'll also give it the flavor in the vegetables. So you want to use the same pot. And that's why I'm not doing it separately. Otherwise, I could do the vegetables separately. But really, I want the marinade, that the oil that's now had all this flavor. I want to make sure that I use that. So this is almost done. I'm just making sure the edges are cooked here. This is probably the longest part that will take you to make is cook the chicken. Test it, just make sure. Yeah. Couple more minutes, and then I'll take the chicken out, and then we will continue with all of the vegetables. Now, I do have a mixture that I use for the taco. Now, I want to explain something to you guys. I go to Bulk Barn here in Canada, and I get just a taco mix for the vegetables, because that's how we like it. If you want to create your own, and you don't have access to a Bulk Barn where you can get it mixed, you can actually use the same marinade that I used for the chicken, minus the garlic and ginger. So you want paprika or red chili powder, you want your garlic powder, a little bit of salt and pepper, and you can actually just use that as your mixture for the vegetables. But I do like using this one here, and like I said, I just get it from the Bulk Barn, and it's just a taco powder. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out of the pan. And like I said, I'm going to leave some of that marinade in here. So what I'm doing here now is I've added a tablespoon of oil, and I've just added the red onions, and I just want to cook it up quickly. You don't have to let this cook for too long. You just want to kind of mix it up in the oil and the marinade. And we're going to add the green. This part is really quick. We're going to add green pepper, red pepper, and then you're going to mix that up. And with the beans, I've already drained it and washed it because it's coming from a can. So I have done that. So we're going to add the black beans, the red beans. The other thing is this is going to make a lot, and there's only 3 of us eating. So what I do is I actually freeze it for the next time I'm going to make quesadillas. I just bring it out, thaw it, and it's fast. So at this point, you're just going to let this fry for just a few minutes. You notice that you don't use a lot of oil, which is really, you know, a way to keep it really healthy. So as this warms up, this is when I would add the taco powder. And as I said, you could use the other as well if you want. And I use the spicy one. The other thing you could add in here is jalapenos. If you have them at home, again, use what you have. But if you like it a bit spicier, then you can put 1 jalapeno in here as well.
I didn't have one, so I'm not using it. Okay. You're just going to let that fry up for a few minutes. I wouldn't do it for too long because it's also going to be in the other pan when we cook the tortilla. As that is cooking, we're going to take this chicken and we're going to basically slice it up. As you can see, it's cooked. And then you're just going to make them into little squares. That's it. You're going to make this ready for when we actually make the quesadilla. That's why you can make if you want to make vegetarian or the chicken, because you're going to add this on top after. And so this is ready. Now you can see that it's actually getting a little bit sticky. And what I mean by sticky is you can see it kind of having a bit of that liquidy feel. And right at this last sort of moment, I'm going to add a bit of the coriander. And that's optional. So for some people who don't like coriander, you don't have to put it in, but I really like the flavor. And so this is ready. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch pots, and I'm going to keep this on really low heat where it'll stay warm while I prepare the actual quesadilla part. So what I have, I'm going to show you, is we buy these here in a package. Okay, they're just the pitas. You can use like a spray oil, or you can use just butter. And what you want to do is you want to lay this down. Remember now, this side was already warm, so this isn't going to take long to heat up. You basically just want to put this on as you've sprayed it with the oil. And then what you're going to do is just take a small amount of cheese and layer the bottom. That's the glue. And we're also going to add the cheese at the top for it to actually stick together. And so then what you do is you take your veggies. I've got it on about between medium and low. I don't want to burn it. I want it to melt the cheese nicely. As you can see, it's actually sizzling if you can see the cheese. And then you take a little bit more cheese and you put it on top. And then what I would do is, I'm going to make the chicken one first. So I would just put the chicken that. And you're going to take your next tortilla, you're going to put it on top. And again, you're going to spray this with the oil, or you can, like I said, you can put a little bit of butter. If you have a stick, you can actually just rub it on top. This is where it gets really tricky. I'm not always successful doing this part, so you have to be a little bit careful on this, where when you turn it, you don't demolish the whole thing, okay? And I'm gonna put this on low because I can feel that it's... So then what you want to do is very slowly and gently just turn it. And as you see, I did make a bit of a mess, and that will happen, but you can actually just put all of this filling back in. And then you let the other side just get golden brown, just like this. And then we're going to put it on a plate. So that's it for this. We're going to bring it off of the pan. Like I said, this is a bit tricky. So you just want to make sure you get it all. You bring it to your plate, and then you can cut it in triangles. I'm going to remove this. And this is best served hot, right? So if you're making it, you want to just kind of make sure that everyone's ready for lunch. I actually usually use a pizza cutter for this. When you make the vegetarian one, you're going to do the exact same way, but you're just not going to add the chicken. Again, top it with cheese, bottom and top, and serve hot.